Now let's move on to life with man's best minion. I don't have to tell you licking faces with the Barkbeast is not my custom. And neither is lair sharing or even co-napping the world's longest bench. I'm sure everybody knows there's a bit of an all-out war going on between cats and dogs. And if you don't, you might want to empty your ear holes sometime. Maybe some hailstones bounced in, or puddle splash got stuck. Or you slept scooped to the ground and ants marched up to build a dirt nest. Clearing that out will help with general threat awareness, and may just save you a life or two, even if you might lose a little more sleep bombarded with our battle cries. And before some delusional hindwalker chimes in and tells us the heartwarming story of a cat and dog growing up together in the same house den, sharing a bowl on the checkered tiles, even decorating the same sofa without a snarl. I get it. I know it happens. We can all get along with an individual and exception to the rule. Even I've passed a few trained dogs, looked them in the eye, and not wished them dead on the spot. But if you think that's a reason to invite muttpacks into your territory for playtime, or any competitors for that matter, and you're all gonna frolic in the mess, you don't have much of a future as a critter family, whatever kind you are. Your paw prints will just get wiped off your own pavement in the end, and replaced by those of your strange-faced so-called comrades. And by the time you realize those paw prints don't match your own and never did, it'll be too late. You have to realize how critters behave in packs, flocks, crowds, colonies, because that's the reality out here. That's how it all works. It's just basic survival logic. And if you're not born with that, you might as well lay down in your own domain and get trampled into a doormat. Then the househounds can wipe their feet on you every time they come back from walkies to sleep by the fire, crackling flames you might have had for yourself. So as I was saying, there's a bit of an all-out war going on between cats and dogs. And unfortunately, the Barkbeasts seem to have the upper hand right now. But it's just because of their gigantism and owner assistance. Let's not pretend it's an issue of talent. Have you seen a dog try to catch a living meal? It's like watching a blind street clown trying to juggle. Climb a tree even. They can't get 4 paws on a trunk, let alone make it to the nearest branch. Even hindwalkers outclass them here and without a claw grip. Sure, females sometimes grow a set on the forepaws, but these are all for show and so flimsy they can snap just scratching a stubborn itch. Sometimes I like to think there must be a far-off territory where cats are really big, maybe even bigger than dogs. And we're in charge, pushing the dogs around, chasing them across the neighborhood, stealing their kills, making them yelp for their lives, and sending out ferocious, earth-trembling screams over the cobbles and plant for parks, as a warning to all slobber-trailing savages. But that's just wishful thinking. Cats that big might struggle to survive. If you had to lick clean a coat that size, the hairballs would be so huge that the cats would all either choke to death or their bellies would get so clogged and swollen they wouldn't be able to move. But then again, you never know. And we can always hope. Anyway, as I was saying, for now dogs have worked themselves into a depressingly good position. I say worked, but I really mean snored, whined, wagged, and puppy-faced.
About the only work they do is drag slow hindwalkers around the block on chains and fetch sticks for the fireplace, which they no doubt hog anyway. But it's obvious to me horses are much better at that first task and dogs will one day lose the job for good. Surely people will eventually come to their senses and dogs will be seen for the lazy, no-good lapscabs they are. Then when the hounds have lost their bodyguards, cats will have a path to final victory. At least that's what we have to hope for, or maybe less hoping and more praying to the cat gods. Probably that's the better option. I'll try to be more regular about it.
In the meantime, mutts will be having the time of their lives. You see these pampered panters out and about, tails fanning faster than a flapper's wings, even doing tricks at the park with that gormless tongue-dangling grin on their faces. It's hard to watch. See, it's one thing finding some amusement in life, but it's clear most of these hounds just don't take life seriously at all. It's simply too easy for them. Practically all they have to do is open their chops and a meaty bone gets shoved in on cue. And that doesn't sit well with me. Life is about as serious as it gets as far as I'm concerned. And I think I can speak for all the alley cats, as well as everyone else scurrying through the urban entrails, all the way down the food chain, fighting for their young, fighting for their hides, whether it's some one-legged flapper screeching for a picnic morsel, or a half-chewed mouse braving a fiery baker's den for a puff of flour.
Life is no wag-tailed walk round the block.
I actually get pretty worked up about this stuff. I guess because I fight simply to get my life survivable, and some nights it's a struggle just to drag myself from the sofa den and find something to keep a few taste buds tickling.
And when I see these happy-go-lucky leash hounds acting like it's all some big game of drool ball at the park, some mindless adventure to be had, not even taking their own simpleton lives seriously, I think it's an insult to the rest of us, and just pretty damn distasteful in general. And from someone who makes a habit out of distasteful meals, that's saying something. Even some of the stray barkers around here would be agreeing with me, I guarantee you. Hard luck hounds with an actual reason to howl. We'd put our war on hold for a moment and see eye to eye for once in our lives, as long as their bum-sniffing snouts didn't get too close, of course.